I've traveled around this great country of ours for the last 25 years with the Roadhouse Rockers. I've met some of the best car and bike builders, been to the biggest shows and auctions in the country. I've seen some of the coolest hot rods and classics around. But some of the greatest ones are right here in our own backyard. My name is Rick McGee, and this is Gearheadz USA.
Hi, welcome to Gearheadz USA. I'm your host, Rick McGee, and today we're with my good friend Mike Adams of Adams Automotive. How you doing, Mike?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Now, you've been doing cars for a long time.
Long time.
And bikes and everything. Yep. So you started out as a little kid, kind of like all the rest of us did, looking at hot rod magazines and dreaming of having hot rods, and like all of us did back in the day. So, but you've taken your dream to extreme, I should say, right?
Yeah.
So now you started out your automotive career actually working at a Toyota garage, right?
Yes.
So
I worked at the Toyota garage for almost 18 years, and ended up deciding to go out on my own and had my own shop.
And you were a foreman though, right?
Well,
all right, well don't forget about that.
I was a foreman for 10 years up there. You know, I ran the shop, ran the guys out there. But other than that,
so what exactly got you into to restoring cars? I mean, there was a certain vehicle that you just started with, or?
No, well, it started out as I just started loving the hot rods and doing my own cars.
Okay.
Started my own cars. Then I became in the car club. I was one of the founding members of Classic Iron.
Okay.
And just car shows from there, and then end up, the more you got into it, the more you do your own thing and your own customization. And
well, that's good. Now,
from there,
one of the first ones you did won an award in the Chevy magazine, right? Was it?
Well, the first one I won, I used to have when the big mini truck phase was out, I had a mini truck that I ended up putting a 406 V8 in it.
Okay.
And I ended up winning the mini truck class over at Hot Rod Super Nationals with it.
Wow.
And then just proceeded on. I sold that and ended up buying a 68 Impala fastback that I ended up totally going from head to top.
That's the one that's in the magazine.
It was in the magazine.
What's the name of that magazine again?
It was a Super Chevy magazine.
And you won.
And I went to a Super Chevy show with it over in Norwalk, Ohio. And there's roughly 3,900 cars over there, and I got one of the top 10 cars.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I got an Editor's Choice Award out of it also.
Wow. And what kind of motor did that have in it?
It had a 454 big block in it.
Oh, wow. I can't afford to drive that one today.
No.
Not very far anyway. Whatever happened to that?
Actually, I'd sold that car on eBay, and a guy from Australia bought it.
Wow.
They took that thing, put it on a boat, and shipped it to Australia.
That must have cost a pretty penny to get it down there.
I'm sure it was.
Did he send you pictures of it once it got down there?
I never heard from the guy again.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Actually, I was one day my computer crashed, and I was looking through some pictures online. Just figured I'd put a new screensaver on, and I was looking through pictures, and they had a picture of my car from Australia at a dealership down there for sale. I actually found it.
Wow. So you're worldwide, man.
I am now.
Cool. So then after that, you had a 55? Was that what you did?
A buddy of mine we built a 55 Chevy for him, and the very same year, next year, he went to the car show, and we won the whole thing again.
And
same thing, top 10 car, Editor's Choice Award, same thing.
That was a ground-up restoration?
Ground-up restoration.
So you did that whole thing, and what kind of motor did that have in it?
They ended up having a 350 in it.
350?
We had a fuel injection motor in it.
Okay. And that won an award too.
I won almost exact same awards that I did with the 68 fastback.
Wow, that's pretty good for a first couple tries, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. So you're still continuing this stuff. One of the cool things that I remember seeing that you did was a 67 Camaro?
67 Camaro, Super Sport.
Super Sport with the coolest pinstripe I ever saw in my life. And
Well, I ended up doing a two-tone paint job on it.
Okay.
And between the two colors, I put a small graphic between the two, and ended up having the whole lyrics from I Can't Drive 55.
Right, so
from
cool.
the front of the car to the back of the car.
That is so cool. And then, so you don't stop there. You work on motorcycles.
Anything with wheels, I can pretty much work on.
That's great. So why don't we take a look? You started restoring ground up again this beautiful 1963 Pontiac.
63 Pontiac LeMans convertible. This car came back he bought it from a place out west. I'm not 100% sure where he got it from. And it was red when it came here. Well, we ended up taking it down. We had it media blasted down to raw metal and built the whole car back from the ground up. Now this car originally had a motor in the front, transmission, transaxle in the back. Well, we ended up taking all that out, and we ended up fabricating a firewall and to put a conventional drivetrain in it. So now it's got a 355 Chevy motor in it, 435 horsepower. It's got an overdrive transmission in it. And it's got a 95 Camaro rear in it with disc brakes with a ladder bar setup in the back. So it's all completely redone. It's got air suspension, so it goes up and down when you're driving it.
Yeah, I saw your nice big air tanks in there. I noticed you shaved it, the door handles off.
We shaved the door handles off. We put a 66 GTO hood scoop in it.
What's that gauge cluster you got in there?
That is just an aftermarket cluster. It's the original dash, but we took in, I have a buddy that has a laser shop, and he cut out the laser part of it, and I painted the insert brown, and we installed the gauges to match the style of car we're going with.
Okay.
So it's still in the works. When it's all said and done, it's going to have a chocolate brown top on it. If you notice, the inserts of the wheels are brown. A lot of the gauge cluster is brown. It's got a lot of highlights of the brown in the engine compartment. It's going to be
give us an idea.
It's going to be a pretty cool ride when it's done.
How long does it take you to do something like this? Like, what do you figure the time that you would have from beginning to end on this project right here?
Well, honestly, this car started about 20 years ago.
But not with you.
I started building this car 20 years ago.
Oh, you did?
And that's
Okay.
when we shaved the door handles on it. We put the tranny tunnel in it, and I ended up mocking a Mustang 2 front end underneath it. So it's got a whole different suspension in it. And then the guy decided, well, we're going to put this car in the back burner, and I did a 63 Chevy lowrider pickup for him. Almost completely done, and he decided, well, he's going to sell that off, and then he brought this car back out about a year and a half ago. So from a year and a half to now, that's where we're at with this car.
Wow, you got pretty far with it.
And this is just doing it not all the time. This is just doing it. Basically, I use these kind of jobs as fill work in between my normal everyday mechanical work.
So you're busy all the time then?
I'm busy all the time.
Well, and aside from doing regular work, you do regular work here too, right? Not just all restoration.
Yeah, we do anything from computer diagnostics to transmissions, to inspections, anything that has to do with repairing a car, we do it here.
And so you find time to still restore cars with all of that?
Well, that's my main love, is doing that.
That's cool.
If I could do that and make a good living at it, I would probably just do that. But
Wow.
you have to pay the bills too. So.
Okay, Mike, why don't you show me some of the stuff that you did on this 63 Pontiac? Let's take a look at it.
Well, it's pretty extensive. Well, we shaved the door handles on it. It's got a custom built dash in it. They ended up putting 19 and 18-inch wheels on it, more modern style wheel. We took and had a set of laser cut stainless steel backing plates for the wheels to make the wheels stand out. It's got a 66 GTO hood scoop in it.
Now, did you guys form that in there on the original hood then?
We took the original hood, cut it out, and then welded it in, and then grafted it in.
Oh, that looks awesome. That looks stock. That looks stock. That's great.
And we kept the Pontiac theme because of it having the Pontiac scoop.
Little bird beak or whatever the Pontiac had, yeah.
Yep. Customized the front end a little bit. It's got a Mustang 2 front underneath it with rack and pinion, so it has modern steering, modern disc brakes on it all the way around.
Powder coated the grill and the headlight bezels were powder coated? Okay.
It's custom painted. It's a factory paint, or it's this brown chocolate paint that we painted all the highlights in.
And so this motor's pushing out, you said?
It's supposed to be pushing out around 300 or 435 horsepower.
Wow, that's awesome. A carbureted motor too.
Well, it's actually a fuel injected
Is
motor.
it? Wow.
But it's got a
a throttle by?
It's got a Fit Tech fuel injection unit on it.
Okay.
Which is the big new fad out is they're putting.
But it looks like it's just got a carburetor
Well,
underneath that air cleaner. That's
basically,
awesome.
you take the carburetor off and put this unit in, and then wire it up.
Isn't it amazing what they do? They had me fooled for a second. Of course, I didn't look at it real close. That's awesome. What do you got here? Are these LEDs or?
We got modern headlights in it with LED setup, and then we took where the original turn signals were and put fog light in it with a halo on it, and the halo we're going to use as a turn signal.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the halo is an amber halo, and that'll be our turn signal setup.
Wow, awesome. That's a pretty good brake setup you got there too.
Yeah, it's power brakes on it. It's all modern stuff. So to make the old car drive like a new car. That's
right.
That was the
It's
issue.
a Restro mod, I guess they call them.
Yep,
Restro mod.
Restro mods.
And you, like I said, that dash cluster's aftermarket, but
Yeah, aftermarket with some custom twitches done to it. We ended up put a set of autometer gauges in it. I did it steering column in with a custom steering wheel.
bucket seats.
It's got original. We took all the original tier and had it all done in a two-tone tweed. So it's all done. We just have to, as a matter of fact, of putting it all back together.
700R overdrive transmission with a floor shift. Kind of looks like it's a standard.
It's supposed to look that way.
Yeah,
but it's still,
no clutch, but that's cool.
But it's still a automatic. So
The exhaust is pretty interesting too. I see you got it coming out the front of the rear tires.
yeah, we didn't want to do anything that was normal, so we're trying to customize the side of it. We put a set of flow tips out the side with a long, flat, skinny deal. We tried to end up putting the exhaust completely out the back, but there wasn't enough clearances with all the rear end and stuff modifications that we already did.
That's very cool. It's kind of a clean look too. Mm-hmm. Is that stainless steel exhaust, or do you just use regular?
It's stainless steel.
Stainless steel. Okay.
Stainless steel. It's something custom built that I did here, and then we just you start fabricating and keep going to town until it's done. So.
Give it that Adams touch, right?
Yeah, I
awesome.
guess so.
And the rear's going to be pretty much stock then on it, the taillights and everything, or are you?
Well, actually, in the taillights, we are taking the original style taillights, and I have a buddy in the laser shop that is actually cutting the panel out, and we end up buying some lights that look like a 66 GTO taillights. They're going to have 2 bars on either side. So it's going with the 66 scoop. We're going to go with the 66 style taillights.
And what about your bumpers? Are you going to leave
Bumpers
those?
are all original.
Okay.
We just had them re-chromed, and that's the bumpers in these are only like 2.5, 3 inches wide. So that's going to be the only chrome you're going to see front and back.
Okay. Beautiful. You guys did a nice job on this one.
And it's going to have a chocolate brown top, a convertible top, to tie everything all together. So.
Well, we'll have to check with you when it's all done and get some pictures of it or get some videos of it.
We're shooting for spring to have it at least out and drivable. So.
Well, it's almost spring now. It's 64 degrees today, right?
Yeah, we got a couple months though, so don't push me too quick here.
Okay. All right.
If I can show you the air ride.
All right, so show us how this air ride works.
That'll be the back. I don't have the mechanism hooked up yet, but this is how it will all settle down in. And when you drive it, when I go all said and done, I'll have a pump in it. You push a button, and it brings it right back up to ride height.
Awesome. Awesome job. Well, I remember a few years back, too, that you had a fire here and lost the whole entire garage, right?
Yeah, well,
and
probably 95% of the garage was burnt off. And it's coming up on my 3rd year anniversary of that.
Right, and you lost some vehicles in that, too, right?
I had lost 2 customers' cars that was in here was working on. We lost those. And actually, there's a trike behind you that I started working on it, and we saved it. We pulled it out just in time. And this trike that's back in here, we're going to starting back up on it here again here next month. And we're going to try to get it finished.
That's Project X. We're not allowed to really show because you guys have a rear end that's going to be patented, right?
Yeah, it's got a custom rear end that the customer doesn't want shown yet because we're going to try to get it patented when we're all said and done. So.
Okay. And so the community got together and everything and helped you get up and running real quick too, didn't they?
Yeah, it's phenomenally. Within 5 weeks after the fire, I was able to work on cars again. I was able to function. I wasn't totally back up where I was, but I was pretty much back where I could start making a living again.
Isn't it great how the people in this community pull together when people need help?
It was awesome. So.
It's awesome. So you actually lost a couple of personal things in this fire also, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a couple bikes that I'd lost in it. One was the first Harley I ever bought was a 01 Sportster that I totally customized from front to back. And then I had a 07 Road King that I had, same thing. I totally blacked it out. It was full custom on that too. So.
And you lost some tools, didn't you?
Oh, we lost 30 years of my life basically through tools and whatnot through the business.
Wow.
So.
Well, I'm glad you're back running again, man. Thank God everybody in this community pulled together. And
it was awesome.
We're glad to have you back.
Glad to be here. Said I was almost ready to throw in the towel, and the community come in and said, "You can't leave yet. We need you to keep it going." So.
So we could show a little bit about your trike. We can't do a whole lot, but he could just give a glimpse of what you're doing. But we have I see we can't see the actual rear of the bike because it's a Project X is a secret. But,
Right.
So this is just in its beginning stages right here.
It's in its raw stages and its mock-up stages right now. So I just go through and doing all the fine-tuning stuff and all the attention to detail stuff that you don't really notice it until it's done.
Right.
So
Is this a stock? Is this what kind of motor do you have in that? It looks like an Evo.
it's a stock Evo motor.
Yeah.
Stock 88-inch Evo motor. Nothing spectacular. He doesn't want a super power on it because of the way the rear end's set up in it. It can probably get away from him pretty easy. So we're just trying to. He wants to make a nice runner out of it and end up being a nice show bike when we're all said and done. So.
Okay. Now I noticed, like, even your own personal stuff, it has to have the Adams touch to it, right?
Well, yeah, I always got to have some kind of bling done to it.
So your 2020 Street Glide that you have over here, you did a couple pretty cool custom things to that also. I mean, the exhaust is pretty unique on there.
Yeah, I bought a header, 2-into-1 header, and then I ended up drilling the holes in the heat shields myself, so it has a different look. You know, I don't like to have anything that somebody else has, and the Street Glide's probably the black Street Glide's the most common bike out there. So I ended up pulling the badges off the side of it and put a CVO badge in it with a chrome green behind it. So green is sort of my signature color kind of thing. And I ended up putting some green stitching in the seat, and I got some green LEDs and stuff underneath it. So
you had that seat custom made, right?
The seat's custom made for it.
But you left a little bit of the stock on the left side of it, right?
Well, I've got a before and after kind of thing, so I haven't changed the other side yet. So
okay, so you can see the green emblem on the right side of the bike and the stock Street Glide Harley emblem on the other side.
Yeah.
But you did a couple nice little custom things to it just to make your own, right?
Right. Well, it's something that, you know, I'm never done doing stuff. I always doing something, always changing something. And when I'm done with that, I'll sell that bike and start on something else again. So.
Well, that's good. But I saw your Jeep before. Didn't you have a bunch of green lights on that too?
I had a Jeep Wrangler 4-door that I ended up. It was lime green, the whole thing.
Yeah, I remember.
And I ended up putting a set of 20-inch lime green wheels on it and put a 4-inch lift kit in it and put a set of 35-inch tall tires on it. So, it was pretty cool, everyday ride kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's always got a little bit of your custom touch to it, everything, right?
Everything I have has to have something done to it. So
that's great.
I don't like to have the normal thing that everybody has. So.
Yeah, I know. There's so many cookie cutter things out there. That's what's really nice about what you guys do. You guys take stuff to the next level and make it your own. And you're doing a very good job at everything that you do. Well, we thank you very much. Thanks, Mike. It was great to see you again.
Yeah, it's good seeing you.
Thank you for tuning in to Gearheadz USA. We'll see you the next time.